Greetings. I'm Alexander. The topic is blackmail. The subject target is NASA. To simply explain, what is blackmail? When a certain group of people have committed wrongs, in this case, they have committed sins in the name of science. So on one hand, you have Senator Bill Nelson, NASA administrator. Then on the other hand, you've got the administrative team, you've got the engineering team, and then you have an adjunct group of NASA employees that identify as Carl Sagan's atheists. And these people have caused a lot of problems in the NASA and scientific communities, such as showing up as NASA employees and breaking down an entire science experiment as a method of demolition while identifying that they're with cold storage. So ultimately, we have a hive mind or a groupthink of people identifying as Carl Sagan's atheists inside of NASA. So what happens is I make Bill Nelson aware of that situation. But because I'm a very polarizing individual, I'm the boss, Bill Nelson instinctively decides to support the NASA atheists. Now, he gets involved and says, well, gosh, it just seems like maybe they've wrecked a couple science experiments. I don't really know. I'm not even worried about it. I'm going to war with these people. Okay, now those people decided to go and kill Christian NASA employees. So when NASA, as an operation, committed to me, meaning my future with NASA is now written in the stars of history, similar to how when J.R.R. Tolkien wrote The Lord of the Rings, by the time the Terminator 2 rolled around, it was written, Terminator 2, the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, it was written in the sands of time, the years that Lord of the Rings would be released as a feature presentation. And they started recruiting Peter Jackson well in advance of Peter Jackson being spatially aware of a contract with his name on it to produce and direct Lord of the Rings. Right, so that was a case where there wasn't any blackmail. Right? They decided, we're going to write Lord of the Rings, we're going to recruit Peter Jackson, and 5 years after they had decided that it would be Peter Jackson got the contract. So when you're dealing with the fact that we have a terrorist incel inside of NASA, and we have Bill Nelson willing to support that terrorist incel, when we deal with blackmail, I provide Bill Nelson the opportunity to demonstrate leadership, where he can say, I have a problem, I need soldiers, I need these soldiers right away, I need Alexander Erickson to be in charge of those soldiers because he is the investigator and the military commander for NASA that can quell this rebellion. This is a rebellion. These are people willing to commit high crimes, hate crimes. They're deciding to murder somebody because they're a Christian. And now the first time we go through that, Bill Nelson's going to look at all that information and say, yeah, I don't really think you can do it. Okay, now that places me in the position of executing a blackmail system of reduction against his position long term. I have already canceled his membership in BASC, Biology, Anthropology, Sociology, Cooperation. So that real high level thing that he had to look forward to, that's now gone, because he's not deciding to take leadership. And that was the only positive thing that I'd given him. It's a big positive, long term. I mean, it's a 100-year contract. He can evolve from being administrator of NASA, evolve to being a founder quietly in Monterey, California, founding BASC. It takes 100 years to do something like that. So he's no longer going to be involved in that because he's now a blackmail victim. So I'm going to have to release the first bit of damning evidence and saying these are the sins of Bill Nelson and these are some of the sins of NASA employees. And then Bill Nelson, in the midst of that media storm, will have a choice to demonstrate leadership, commensurate with the problems, or he will fade away. And because of the level of the situation, there's only 1 or 2 revolutions of those news cycles where he is going to have the opportunity to advance as a leader prior to being defamed, debunked, and removed from power. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is blackmail.